silver and gold. See, and that's another thing too that I remember in like the 90s was when they were like how I mentioned now, like, you know, currency, dollars being destroyed and all that. In the 90s, Desert Storm, 9/11, these similar things came up. People were talking about like, oh, you're gonna want to buy silver and gold. You're gonna want to buy silver and gold because the money's getting worthless or whatever. It's the same thing, and I'm not saying it's not true, it's bullshit. Money's already fake. They're just trying to scare people into buying stupid shit for no reason. You're not gonna go fucking buy stuff here in America with silver and gold. That's a fact. You show me a fucking store that you're gonna walk into and buy something with silver. You're not going to. It's not going to happen. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the system part of it. Yeah, it's a big part. Money is the biggest part of it. Like I said, and I don't hate money. Like, I understand like having a system in place that we use as far as like trading goes and whatever, and how we, you know, trade for services or whatever, that kind of a thing. Like that, it makes sense. Like, so I don't hate money just as money. I do hate the system though. It is exploited. It is abused. You know, so it's pretty terrible. But yeah, I remember not only was it silver and gold, but copper was a big one too in the 80s. Copper, and we had copper in my house. My mom loved copper, but she liked copper, and I remember we actually were learning how to make pennies out of copper, like the copper wire. We were learning how to make a penny for fun. We weren't trying to make fake money. We were doing it for fun. We had a bunch of copper, and we were using the wire to make pennies with. I like eating pork. That's so funny. You just have to do it secretly, man. You have to do it in private. You go to those underground clubs, you know, underground pork club. How much the earth is rich and abundant. It's a shame that there's some people that can't eat it. It is because that we're born into an evil system where we are brainwashed. We're forced into it. It's really weird. It does not have to be this way. But the only way, I mean, like that I'm aware of, would be to be born wealthy, is to be okay and you know, whatever. I don't know, it's weird. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I don't know. It's just strange to me, and that's what makes me mad too, is that people make excuses for it. Like that one guy I told you about, the Charlie Robinson, talking about like, oh, you're low-skilled workers. You shouldn't get paid. There's no reason for you to get paid $20 an hour. Literally, the cost of living is why we should get paid enough to fucking live. You dumb piece of shit. What a disgusting fucking human being, man. Just disgusting. But it's weird. I know, I don't think of him as a brainwashed person, but I know that's brainwashing. Like, that is. So I have to, I can't assume he's stupid because of the conversation that he has and the things that he talks about. I have to assume he's a con man and an asshole. I can't assume he's a moron because of what he talks about. So since he's saying vote for Trump, he's saying that low pay, like your wage should be low because you're not doing an important job. You shouldn't be able to afford to live because you're doing a job that's so easy or whatever. What a fucking piece of shit, man. Like, real situation inside your mind. Well, that's the thing too. I agree with, I think so. I think for anybody that grew up poor or lived most of their life poor, suddenly became rich, you would still have the mentality of a poor person, right? You know what I mean? Like, you're not just going to automatically be like the normal rich. You know, it's a different thing. It's a completely different perspective. And I think you would have to have started poor and broke and have nothing to really understand that. Nobody born wealthy will ever understand what it's like not to be born wealthy. They will never understand that. And I think it's weird because something I've thought about, especially when I look back on things in my own history and whatever. So my mom had a wealthy family. And I never really gave it much thought because we've never been close with our relatives. My mom's family was wealthy, not rich, just wealthy, right? For back then, it was normal. Like that comes from the time where like it was, one person in a household had a job and they were able to pay for everything and have extra. One person in a household of like 10 plus. That was my mom's family, but her family was abusive. Specifically, her dad was abusive. So she left. She left her home, and then she married somebody who also ended up being abusive, who was also wealthy. So my dad was wealthy. We had a nice home. I can still picture our home. It was a big fucking house. It was nice. And we were in a neighborhood where everybody had a similar home, like a 2-story fucking house, lots of rooms and whatever. It's weird to think about, man. We left him when I was 4 years old. And so she had a wealthy family, wealthy relatives, whatever. She had a wealthy husband. But she left all that because it was abusive. So we've been poor our whole fucking life, just me, my mom, and my sister, and that's it. That's it. Whole life, me, my mom, and my sister, with no help, no income. The only help we've had is from the government. Being poor, getting government assistance. That's the only help we've ever had, and that's the last place you would ever want to be on. I hated it, man. It sucked because like it was. I mean, it was helpful, but it also kept us trapped. But it's the same thing as the regular money system because they give you help assistance based on your income. So the more you make, the less they help, which would be fine. It left no room for savings. Left no room for actually being able to save money. It's just weird. Everything's weird. But I thought about that a bunch though. I was like, you know what? If my mom had never left her family or our dad, we'd be wealthy. And I don't regret that. They were abusive. Like, I don't regret her leaving them. It's just weird to think about,